Imagine you're sitting in a room. 6 other people are there with you. A researcher walks in, shows everyone a card with 3 lines on it. Line A, line B, line C, then holds up a second card with one single line. The question is simple, almost insultingly simple. Which of the 3 lines matches the one on the second card? The answer is obvious. You can see it immediately. It's line C. The first person answers, line A. You blink. The second person answers, line A. You look at the card again. No, it's definitely line C. Third person, line A. Fourth, fifth, sixth, all of them, line A. Now it's your turn, and here's the question that one psychologist spent his career trying to answer. What do you say? His name was Solomon Asch, a Polish-American psychologist, working in the 1950s at Swarthmore College in Pennsylvania. He was fascinated by a simple problem. When a person's own eyes tell them one thing, and everyone around them tells them the opposite, which one wins? So he designed an experiment so elegant. It has been replicated hundreds of times across dozens of countries in the 70 years since. The setup was deceptively simple. A real participant is placed in a room with what they believe are 6 other participants. Those 6 people are actually actors, Confederates working with Asch. They know exactly what they're doing. The group is shown cards with lines. The correct answer is always obvious, never ambiguous, never close. And for the first 2 rounds, the actors answer correctly. Everything seems normal. Then on the 3rd round, the actors all confidently give the same obviously wrong answer. And Asch watches to see what the real participant does. Now here is where most people get this experiment wrong. You will often hear that 75% of people will lie to agree with the group. That is not accurate, and Asch himself would correct you. Here is what actually happened. Conformity is the tendency for an individual to align their attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors with those of the people around them. And it can take the form of overt social pressure or subtler unconscious influence. Across his studies, approximately 75% of participants conformed on at least one trial. But here is the crucial detail. Overall, across all the trials, participants gave the wrong answer to go along with the group about 32% of the time. That means most people got most answers right. But also, almost nobody was immune. Only about 25% of participants never conformed even once. The rest, 75% of ordinary people, looked at a line that was clearly wrong and said it was right. At least once, because 6 strangers said so first. Now, here is the part that is actually interesting. These people weren't stupid. They weren't weak. They weren't unusual. They were normal. And when Asch interviewed them afterward, the answers they gave were far more disturbing than the experiment itself. Some said they genuinely started to doubt their own vision. 6 people can't all be wrong. Maybe I'm the one who's seeing it wrong. Maybe something is off with my perception. Others said they knew they were right, but they couldn't bring themselves to be the only person in the room who said so. Both of these responses have a name in psychology. Informational social influence leads people to conform because they believe the group possesses correct information. Normative social influence is where a person conforms to fit in with the group because they don't want to appear foolish or be left out. 2 completely different mechanisms, both producing the exact same behavior. And both of them are not bugs in your brain. They are features. Humans are generally social animals. And from an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. We haven't always been at the top of the food chain. We are not the fastest, fiercest, or strongest animal. 2 things have helped us thrive as a species: our brains and our friends. Through cooperating and working as a group, humans can be more successful than they could be independently. For most of human history, being excluded from the group was not an inconvenience. It was a death sentence. No shelter, no food, no protection. The human brain learned over hundreds of thousands of years that social rejection is dangerous, and it responds to that danger the same way it responds to physical threats, with urgency, with alarm, with the powerful drive to do whatever makes it stop. So when you sit in that room and 6 people tell you line A, your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's keeping you safe from a threat that no longer exists. The problem is, the modern world didn't come with a software update. Here is what makes Asch's results genuinely disturbing. He tested variables. He tried the experiment with more actors, with fewer, with different levels of confidence. And one finding stood above all others. When even one other person in the room gave the correct answer, conformity dropped dramatically. Having one ally, just one, made people far more willing to trust their own perception, which tells you something important. This isn't about intelligence. It isn't about education. It isn't about confidence. Research has shown that people tend to switch their answers to match those of the group even when they think the group's answer is wrong. The pressure to conform operates mostly below conscious awareness. You don't feel yourself being influenced. You feel yourself coming to a conclusion. That distinction between influence and conclusion is one of the most uncomfortable things psychology has ever discovered. Now, here is the part that should make you put your phone down for a moment. Every social media platform you have ever used is a carefully engineered Asch room. Think about what you actually see when you open any social platform. You see how many people liked something, how many shared it, how many agreed. You see which opinions have thousands of approvals, and which ones are sitting quietly with none. You see, before you form your own view, what the group already decided. The effects of sharing content on social media lead to acts of conforming based on others' feedback. Social media has increased our susceptibility to normative social influence through the option to follow who we want and filter the rest. The line cards are everywhere. Every trending opinion is 6 people pointing at line A. Every viral post is a room full of confident strangers. Every comment section is an Asch experiment, running at scale, with billions of participants and no researcher watching. And unlike Asch's study, where the pressure lasted minutes, this experiment runs every single day, on every topic, in every direction, simultaneously, without a debrief at the end. It doesn't stop at the phone. Think about the last time someone at work proposed an idea in a meeting, and you watched everyone around you nod along, even though you had serious doubts. Did you speak? Think about the last time your friend group collectively agreed on something, a person, a decision, a judgment, and you felt the slight pull to just go along with it. Did you push back? With compliance, people change their public behavior but not their private beliefs. With identification, people change their public behavior and their private beliefs, but only in the presence of the group. Sometimes you keep quiet in the meeting, not because you agree, but because 6 faces are already nodding, and being the one person who doesn't nod feels exactly like sitting in Asch's room, about to say line C, while everyone else says line A. Asch's experiment offers one genuinely practical insight. You do not need to fight conformity. You need to notice it. Before you agree with something, ask yourself one question. Would I believe this if I had encountered it alone? Not in a comment section, not at a table full of nodding people, not in a feed full of likes. Would I, alone, with just the evidence, reach this same conclusion? If the answer is yes, your belief is yours. If the answer is uncertain, you might be in an Asch room. One more thing Asch discovered that rarely gets mentioned: the participants who resisted conformity most were not more intelligent. They were not more confident. They had simply thought about what they actually believed before anyone else told them what they should believe. The sequence mattered more than the person. Here is what Solomon Asch spent his career trying to communicate, and what most summaries of his work miss. He was not pessimistic about human nature. He ran the experiment not to prove that people are sheep. He ran it to understand what conditions allow people to become sheep, and therefore what conditions allow people not to. His experiment showed that one dissenting voice changed everything. One person willing to say, "I see line C," dramatically reduced conformity in everyone else in the room. The most dangerous room is not the one full of people confidently saying the wrong thing. The most dangerous room is the one where nobody is willing to be the first to say they see something different. And the most unsettling part of everything Asch discovered is that the person sitting in that room right now, the one most certain they would never conform, is statistically the most likely to be wrong about that. Because that certainty, that confidence, that I would never, is exactly what every single participant in Asch's study felt before they walked into the room.